Welcome back. We are discussing about a few topics under environmental engineering. And in this video, we'll be talking about the different types of water resources, and under which we mainly discuss about the water quality of different sources, then groundwater and wells. So as we know, we are having hydrologic cycle on the earth. So according to it, you can see here from this picture, the rainwater is a major source of water. So water comes from the rainwater in the form of precipitation. It will fall on the ground and it will flow on the ground as a runoff. So it will be surface water, and some water will get percolated and goes below the ground as groundwater. And the water based on its flow and the local temperatures, it will get evaporated and then goes into the air. It will get condensed into the vapor and the clouds, and the clouds will get deposited into the form of, once again, precipitation. Similarly, the plants and trees will have the transpiration. This will also go along with the vapor condensation, and then finally you're going to get the precipitation here. So 75% of the surface on the earth is water, 25% is only land. Out of the 75%, we are having only 1% of drinking water. Remaining water is available in sea or glaciers. So the water availability depends mainly on the hydrologic cycle. So as I said here, different sources are rainwater, surface water, groundwater. Now we are talking about recycled water. Whatever the water used for a specific purposes is treated and being partly used for the water consumption purposes. So the surface water is coming through rivers, lakes, and ponds. The groundwater will come through wells and then infiltration galleries and springs. And whatever the water available, it all depends on the quality of the water. So because we have to use it primarily for drinking and subsequently for irrigation or construction or for whatever may be the purposes. So if you see the rainwater coming down, so there are a lot of air pollution coming here, the gases and particulates. So they will get dissolved in the precipitation and they will fall back onto the earth. So therefore, there will be a lot of dissolved gases, particulates, salts, and dissolved chemicals which are coming along with the rainwater. The surface water, now we have suspended material. The rainwater falls on the ground and then it will flow as the runoff here. So whatever the dirty material or silt material or the sediment material there on the ground, it will also move along with the runoff and join into surface water bodies. So that's why you have a lot of suspended material, and whatever is carrying, the runoff is carrying, like dissolved chemicals, pesticides. Pesticides are coming through agricultural runoffs. Biological matters are coming through discharges from sewage, domestic drainage water, and heavy metals may be coming from sewage or from industrial wastewater directly discharged into the surface water bodies. Similarly, groundwater, when it goes below the ground, then subsequently what will happen is it will pass through the different geological layers. So along with the passage, it will try to take dissolve the minerals or some salts which are there below the substratum. So subsequently, all those things will be available in the groundwater. And beyond that, the septic tanks which are constructed at houses, the water coming out from the septic tank will be allowed to leach into the subsoil. So that may also go join into the groundwater, and that may give you some sort of a biological contamination. So similarly, the discharges coming from domestic or industrial waste, and wherever the untreated water is there, no proper treatment is there, and improper discharge is also there. All those things may get joining the groundwater. So therefore, the heavy metals, chlorides, carbonates, all such type of things may also be there. And then recycled water quality depends on how much degree of treatment we are giving, and what type of impurities are there. So now if let us quickly look at the requirements of water for domestic use. So ideally speaking, the water should be clear from all the impurities. It should be colorless, it should be odorless, it should be free from harmful salts, free from dissolved gases, objectionable minerals, removing heavy metals like cadmium, arsenic, and lead, and all salts must be removed, hardness and fluorides, bacterial contamination. All such type things must be removed. So, but what you see from the sources, all the sources or none of the sources are pure water. So we need to have a proper treatment. The classification of the impurities we see, the different types based on the physical, chemical, and bacteriological. The physical can be the physical appearance like color, turbidity, temperature, taste, and odors of the water. So we can define these parameters. Similarly, chemical means in the dissolved form like acidity, alkalinity, hardness, chlorides, nitrates, sulfates, heavy metals, and pH. pH will give us the degree of acidity, how much acidity is our water is there, or how much alkaline it is there. And bacteriological will come through contaminated water joining into surface or groundwater bodies. So mainly it is measured in terms of coliform index and MPN. So ideally for drinking water, there should not be any presence of bacteria in the water, right? Classification of impurities, how you are going to classify them. Majorly, they are classified as suspended, which are floating in the water, like a silt, clay, algae, etc., which causes turbidity. Turbidity is nothing but the obstruction to passage of light. If more and more silt particles are there, light cannot pass through. So more obstruction means more turbidity. More turbidity means more particles, more suspended particles. Very simple to understand. So we can observe it particularly during flood waters. Flood waters, you can see a lot of dirty particles are there. If you take it in a glass, and then you can see a lot of dirty particles is colored as well. If you keep it undisturbed for 1 hour, all the particles will get settled down to the bottom. At least you can see some clarity in the upper layers of that particular water in the glass. So dissolved particles are there, they're invisible, they change the quality of the water, like hardness, chlorides, and sulfates. And colloidal particles, which are very small, electrically charged, and less than 1 micron in size. We are having IS 10500 2012 IS code book for drinking water quality standards. So we are adopting that. Let us quickly look at the groundwater. Groundwater is the water which is available below the ground, and the sources are majorly precipitation, which is coming through again this water coming through ground through when the water is percolating through the subsoil. And besides this, there is some amount of groundwater which is coming through subsoil movement from the nearby areas. For example, we are having this water body close to a sea surface, so there can be a saltwater intrusion into the groundwater. Similarly, there can be aquaculture ponds near the water sources. So there can be brine water coming from aquaculture ponds, maybe entering through subsoil. So whenever you try to tap, you will get this water coming from these sources into the water source. So these are some of uh, the interruptions to the groundwater, right? Interference which are causing to the clear water. And what are the stratum, which mainly contains water? The interferences, they're very small compared to actual availability of water, that is the percolation. So the water which is containing in the geological stratum, we are calling as an aquifer. There are two types of aquifers, how the water is available in that particular stratum, unconfined and confined. So let us quickly look at this unconfined aquifer. What we are having is there will be a hard stratum, what we are calling technically as impermeable stratum, and on top we are having the water level. This is below the ground. So this is the ground level, right? This is the ground level. This is the ground. So now what you are seeing here below the ground, this water is at some point of the time may go up over the ground. That is sometimes possible also. What you are seeing is this is all soft surface. This water is now available above the hard surface, and this is all saturated. The small waters are there. The small water coming here from the top, percolated water passing through like this. So this is all allowing the passage of water, but more water is available here and is passing through this. So this is something like you are having a open channel flow. The open channel flow, what you are having, this is a hard surface at the bottom, and then top you are having a water level. So that means this is analogous to this, and the hard surface is analogous to the impermeable surface, right? So similarly, in the confined aquifer, what we are seeing is water will be passing only through different impermeable aquifers. That means water is having a horizontal movement like this, depending on the shape of the aquifers. This is analogous to what we are having is the pipe movement here, pipe flow. Pipe flow here is also there. The water passing through a pipe. It's like this. Now what we are having in the pipe, top layer is hard surface, bottom layer is hard surface. Water is moving between them, right? So confined aquifer is also called as artesian aquifer. So relatively small recharge areas, and the unconfined aquifer is also called as non-artesian aquifer. Let us look at this, we can understand. So now the green one is the ground surface, soft surface, where the water is now coming down, permeable water is coming down. And then this is the water, soft soil here, and then where you are having more water. And the red color line is nothing but the hard surface, solid rock. So where water cannot pass through. So now what you are seeing is this water is passing with the top upper layer of water and bottom hard surface. Now, depending on the profile of the ground, this water may come out of the ground. It may be a small spring or a small stream, right? So now this is the unconfined aquifer. Upper layer is water and bottom layer is impermeable surface. If you want to extract water, you have to dig a well into up to the hard surface, and then you can extract water from the unconfined aquifer. And if you see the unconfined aquifer here, the blue line between the two red lines. So the red lines are impermeable surfaces, and then the blue is nothing but carrying water. So now what you are seeing is this water is moving in this direction. So now somewhere it is exposed to air, okay, atmosphere. If you are putting some recharge, so this water can come down into this aquifer at some point of the time. So if you want to collect this water, you have to dig a well into this aquifer between these two hard surfaces. Then only you are going to get the water from this type of aquifers. At the bottom, you are having a bedrock which is very deeper in the subsoil. So we are talking about different types of wells. You have to put it in the aquifers. What type of wells are there? So there are two wells, open wells and two wells. What exactly is a well? Well is nothing but a hole or a shaft, usually vertical, excavated in the earth for bringing groundwater to the surface. So this is your open well and this is your two well. The open well is nothing but it is now having a wider area. So and then this is your ground level. This is a ground and this is a water level. So water will be entering from the bottom into this bottom of the well, right? So this is what is happening. Here you can see the water level is pretty high in this as per the ground level, L2 to the ground level. So occasionally these sites are also lined or unlined depending on the wells. So open well is a relatively large diameter, cross-sectional area of flow is less. It can be deep or shallow wells depending on the extent they are penetrating into the aquifers. They can be lined or unlined. This tube wells is a long pipe. This is a tube well is a long pipe here. Tube well is a long pipe. So now you see this is a long pipe. You are digging up below the ground. So I'm taking this line, horizontal line as a ground level. So this is the ground level. Now digging it here. So automatically this water will come through this and then going up and flowing like this. You can see in the picture, this is how the water is coming out from the well. There is a long pipe sunk into the ground with a strainer. The strainer is nothing but a mesh you're connecting to the bottom of this pipe. The number of perforations are there to this pipe so that water can enter at different directions, not only in the bottom direction, maybe in the horizontal directions as well. So you're putting a mesh like this. So this mesh will have perforations so that it will stop the entry of silt or sand or any other sediments into this pipe. Only water will be moving through it. So that what you see from this picture is a cross-sectional area of flow is more horizontal as well as vertically up. So it gives more discharge than the open well, right? So in this is agricultural purposes generally we are using. So for a domestic purpose also we are having another model of this. So now you see the well, the some features of the well, open well. It derives water only from one pervious stratum below it, and economically it may not be feasible beyond 30 meters. So that means you have to fetch water, right? Otherwise you have to put a pump, submersible pump to lift that water into from that deeper wells. So definitely it will be a serious problem, right? Now, when you come to the tube wells, there are three different types of tube wells, depending on the operation of the tube wells. Strainer well is nothing but a mesh, and cavity and slotted wells, they are also used. But that is beyond the scope of our coverage. Our idea is only to understand what are the different types of wells and how they are used to collect the groundwater. That's enough. So occasionally the two wells, the slots, the pipes, the holes what you are making, and they are connected to the hand pumps as well at some places. So here hand pump is nothing but lifting water from the groundwater to the ground, to the above the ground by converting the human power to mechanical advantage. So we are pushing and pulling up the lever so that there will be reciprocating action here. So then automatically water will be lifted from the shaft of the hand pump and will come out from the exit of the hand pump. So they are widely used in every country in the world for a variety of industrial, marine, irrigation, and leisure activities. So these are all about the groundwater sources. And there are different aquifers are there, and unconfined and confined. And then we are using wells to extract the water from these aquifers. And before that, we also have to understand there are different sources of water, and the plenty of water is available, but the quality is of more importance to us. And depending on the quality of the available water, we have to plan what type of treatment systems we have to adapt. So this is all about in this video. So in the next video, we'll talk about another topic, right? Thank you.